What is up, my fine fellow YouTube $5 and greater tier fans and family? It's good to see you guys, man. Hope everyone's doing well throughout this pandemic crap. I figured we'd do something a little bit different today. This rheumatoid arthritis is kicking my ass, man. I can barely walk right now. My ankles and knees and hips. Wow, something in my eyes. So, you know, rather than walk around, take you up to the big shop, I figured to keep you down here and show you a little something down here this time. We do something a little bit different. I've got an old instrument right here. It's very old. Let's see, it's older than I am, actually. I don't know if you can see it or not. I'm using a different camera. I've never used this camera right here. Figured I'd show you an old, very old instrument and tell you about it. It's a banjo. It's a Gibson RB 250, and that's what it was when it was put into this case. It just fits perfectly, man. I can't believe it's in tune. I thought he loosened the strings on it. Anyways, there's a lot of stories to be told about this old banjo, and I'll get you and bring you over here and show it to you, and then I'll tell you some of the stories as we go along about it. This is a banjo that I learned to play on. God, I started when I was 4 years old. My dad had propped me up in bed with pillows and put a capo way down the neck because I couldn't even reach the end of the neck. And this is a banjo I learned to play on. It's a RB, like I said, RB 250. I think I said that. And it's an arch top. It's got the arched head. It's not a flat head. Bow tie inlay. And man, I played this banjo. I drug it all over the United States and played it. Won contests with it, played it in several different bands over the years with it. And it's, my dad bought it. I'll get you in a minute to show you, I promise. My dad bought this banjo March the 2nd in 1959. Now, the reason I know that is because I still have the original receipt where he bought it. He bought it out of a jewelry store, okay? He paid $295 for it. With a hardshell case, not this hardshell case, but with one just about as nice as this one is. $295 for the banjo and the case. He was tickled to death, man. I mean, I don't remember it, but I remember him talking, my mom talking about it, you know, saying how much he was so crazy about getting that banjo. He had a buddy that they had a band together. They just played old cheap, junky instruments, you know. It's probably was all they could afford, because man, we were poor when I was that young. And his buddy bought a Gibson teardrop mandolin. That's at the very same time. Not the same day, but that month. So my dad had a new banjo, and his buddy had a new Gibson mandolin, and they were, you know, 1959, man. They were, they were, you know, wheel hossing it. And anyways, like I say, when I was, that was before I was born, rather, actually. I don't know if I said that or not. I was born in August, so it was like a few months before I came along. And then 4 years after that is when I started wanting to play the banjo. And, you know, like I said, he propped me up on the bed and set it on me, in front of me, and put pillows around, put a capo on it. I think I could reach the end of the neck up here, but I couldn't comfortably reach it, you know what I mean? So he put a capo down about the 4th fret or so. And it didn't have these tacks in it then. I put the tacks in it years after that. I think he had like a sliding capo for that one string, for the 5th string. It screwed in, and it had a little slide on it. You slide, you know, whatever fret you wanted. So if you put the capo up here on the 4th fret, then you'd have to come down from here 4 frets. You know, to make it, to keep it in tune. See what I mean? I can't believe he left that tuned up all this time, man. This banjo's not seen daylight. Let me get it out. I'll get you and bring you over here in a minute. Why are banjos all so dang heavy for, man? Anyways, I'll show you what it looks like here. It's got the old style cam tuners on it, Scruggs D tuners. That's what you're seeing there. 6 keys, if you count those. I think you can see them. I can't see the camera for shit, man. There's a story about that too, I'll tell you it. See that arched head? Pretty good shape to be that old. Check that out, man. 60, coming up on 61 years old, and still looks like this. I refretted it once. Had it refretted once, and then I refretted it once. Had it refretted many years back when I didn't trust myself to do an instrument like this. Alright, I'm going to come get you and bring you over here, and that's probably going to fall and hurt me. And I'll tell you some things about this whole going. Good to see you guys, man. Thanks for keeping it here another month. Alright, here it is. Here it is in its majestic beauty. Everything on this banjo, by the way, is original except these two cam tuners. There's a story there. This was not a geared key. I changed it out. And of course the bridge, I changed it, and I changed this tailpiece. These tailpieces usually have a lid that comes over and covers about that much of the string up, and that thing always rattled, man. So I took it off. It didn't really serve any purpose. Now, let me tell you some tales about this thing, man. This camera don't have stabilization. Maybe I can stabilize the image when I edit it. Hopefully it can. We'll just start back here. Listen to that thing ring. Can you hear that? Wow. So I changed the tailpiece, and I've had a blue million different bridges on it. That affects the sound of a banjo big time. Now you can see that raised ring around there. Most banjos don't have that. Most people like the flat-headed ones better. I guess this was all what they had in the jewelry store when my dad bought it. He was just happy to get a Gibson, you know, a good banjo. This right here, you might think it's from arm wear, where my arm hung down over it so many years. Part of it is up in here, but this big spot right here, this thing broke one time. And my dad and one of his friend's name was Skinny Beckett. He's been dead, good Lord, 50 years at least, man. He's been gone. I remember him. Well, I was there when they did this. There's a place here somewhere, I think it's right there, where my dad held it with pliers, and Skinny brazed this, the bracket back here, back on to the armrest itself, and it made the chrome come off of it right there. I thought my dad was going to cry. Now you can buy these all day long. You know, of course it wouldn't be original. That's the original one that came on the banjo. Of course the head is not original. You know, over the years I put a lot of heads on it. Look at the shape though, man, that it's in. It needs cleaned right now. Like I said, it's been in storage. But I mean, check it out. To be that old, look at the chrome on it. What shape it's in to be. Yeah, I'm going to cover the light up over there. The frets are pretty good. They're pretty dirty. Man, I'm sorry about this shaking, guys. And like I say, I put that 5th string tuner in there. You can see the tacks right there and right there. Get the light glare off of them there. You can see them, I think. There's only 2 in it. I did that after I started working on instruments a little bit more. Oh yeah, this little neck right here. My dad, all the years he played that before I started playing, it didn't have a scratch on it, man. Nowhere. And I was coming through the house one day, had it strapped on me, and caught this right here on the door facing. And I thought I was going to cry. That was the first, you know, really bad noticeable nick anyways in the banjo. I never did fix it. I just left it like that. Never did fix it. I was too busy playing it. Look at the fretboard. How the fretboard's got wear in it. Can you see that? Under the strings. There, I think you see it better. This banjo had the guts played out of it, man. The old key that went here was just the screw right here, and the end of it was the only adjustment you had to adjust the drag on it. There wasn't no gears, no gearbox. The string just came up and wrapped around the entire key, and you turned it to tune it up. This one's geared. It's a lot better. Oh yeah, these tuners here, Y'all gonna like this. I got those tuners off of the man himself, Mr. Earl Scruggs. Directly from Earl. Talked to him on the phone. And I knew he had a little store, but I didn't know how to find out anything, about it. And I just wrote a letter one time, put it to, I forget where I thought he lived then. My dad had old Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs books, and one of them had an address in it, and I think I sent to one of those addresses, and he wrote me back, and it had a phone number on it, and I called him. Anyways, I got these off of Earl for 20 bucks for both of them, 10 bucks a piece. So that was pretty good. Maybe I can show you what they look like down here. Now, one of the stories on this, I zoomed you in a little bit, hold on. I think I'm zooming you in. One of the stories on these, when these tuners came in, you had a pattern like that you took the strings off, lay the pattern over the entire headstock, and it lined up, with these 4 keys. And it had, where the drill at. Now, if you look really close, this key is closer to the edge than this one is right there. Can you see that? The paper moved on me a little bit. Me and my dad did that. Well, I did. It was my fault. But, we were both about to cry when I was standing over the banjo with the drill. I hadn't done much work like that at that time, This was years later after I had played a lot of years. I was actually pretty good on the banjo. And then when I ordered those from Earl, I got a bunch of other stuff off of him. I forget, a capo, I think. And a strap, I think strings, and I don't know what all. He sent me a book, actually, and it had a bunch of stuff in it, and we ended up ordering a whole bunch of stuff when we got those tuners. Alright, hold on, I'm going to pause the camera, I'll turn it over, show you the back of it. Alright, there's the beautiful sunburst collar. Now, it's a little bit rough back here. I can't get that light glare out of it, man. Maybe if I come down this way, you can see a scratch right there. It almost looks like a crack now. It used to be a scratch right there. See it? Kind of looks like a crack now. It used to be just a scratch. I'll have to look into that. This banjo's been in storage for a long time. But to be 60 years old, man, coming up on 61, check the back of the neck out. And to have been played in as many places as it's been and dragged. See, there's a little damage back here from wear over the years. I drug this banjo all over the country, man, growing up, and even after I got old and got married, and until I couldn't play it anymore. There's a shot of that geared key. There's a little place right here. My dad had an old cheap capo that did that. But I mean, man, $295. Do you know what these banjos cost right now? Do you know what I could sell this banjo for? Can you imagine, man? I'll never sell it though. Actually, I gave it to my son. He started learning to play and got very good on it. Not good as me, but he was pretty good. Yeah, there you can see some of the roughness in the finish. Just from being dried out and humidified and dried out and humidified and dragged all over the place. Very good shape to be so old. I think my dad did that belt buckle mark there, because I was always very careful about that. Beautiful old banjo. One. Just a beautiful old banjo. Now they make it. Troy, I'm sure you know about these other keys called, what do they call them? Scruggs Keith tuners. And they don't work the old cam style like these two do. They actually have set screws back here, 2 of them on each key. And well, actually these two keys up here, and they have set screws on the side, and you can adjust them so they'll only turn so far and lock. Now they're the kind I used on all my other banjos. This is the only banjo that I had these on with. Yeah, I was going to tell you about, he bought it in 1959, as I said, and we thought it was a 59 model, you know. All the festivals I took it to, everywhere he played until I started playing, he gave it to me. Everybody, you know, people say, what year is that banjo? Sounds good. What year is it? I'd say it's 59, 1959. Because we always thought that from the time he bought the banjo. So when I got older, I started calling around, checking out, and a company by the name, I believe, if I remember correctly, Mandolin Brothers, bought Gibson's old records out. I don't know how that happened, but Gibson said, you got to call Mandolin Brothers. I was going to give him the serial number off of it, which is not stamped on the back of the peg head. The head stock, or whatever you call it, where you live. Anyways, I got the serial number out of it, and got Mandolin Brothers and called them. Told them the story. I said, my dad bought it in March of 1959. And here's the serial number. I didn't know how to read the numbers back then. And the guy looked it up and told me, he said, that's your banjo's in 1956. It was built in 1956. He said, back in that time, it wasn't, you know, uncommon for a banjo like that to sit around in a store, you know, for months or even years in this one's case. So it was in 1956 it was built. My dad bought it in 59, so it's 3 years old, you know, when he bought it. But it was brand new. It's still, I guess it sat in the store, the jewelry store up there for that long. You can look on the maps for Richwood, West Virginia. That's where he bought it. A little place called Smithson's Jewelry, if I can say it. Smithson Jewelry. I can't say that, man. It's hard to say. Anyways, that's where he got it for $295. Hard shell case and all. Man, if that banjo could talk. Well, it does talk. If I get you down there close to it and yell at it, you can probably hear that. It don't sound good now because the strings are probably 10 years old on it, maybe longer than that. I think it's been that long since my son fooled with it. But I literally drug that banjo everywhere, man, and played it. Played it with some big name bluegrassers too, around festivals, you know. The jam session out in the parking lot. A jam session happened, and that, you know, you just run on to the big boys and sometimes get to pick with them. And over that many years, I played with several. Got to play on stage with a few of them. Just they let me sit in. That was mostly when I was a kid, you know. I was pretty good and got a lot better. When you do something for 12 hours a day, the reason those frets are not worn because they haven't been played on that much. I fretted this banjo, and if you look down to right there, well, from right here up this way, let me find it again. Yeah, if you look at those frets from right there up this way, they're all the same. But if you look from this fret down this way, these frets are narrower this way. They're not as wide. Can you see that? I ran out of fret wire, man. And all I had left was a little bit narrower fret wire, so that's what I used. Fretboard looks good. Master tone. I can get you a shot of that, man. I don't know if I can get it in there. Yeah, I can't hold the camera still. I think maybe yeah, there it is. I think you can see it. Master tone. Good old banjo. A lot of folks have played that banjo too over the years. You know, how people just kind of look at your banjo. Sure, you can look at it. I was going to tell you something though. Can't remember what it was. Something else about the banjo I thought of, and I started to tell you, and I got sidetracked talking about these frets. Wow, I don't even know what it was, man. Anyways, I played a lot of festivals and won a lot of contests, made a lot of money with this banjo. $295 hit way more than paid for itself over that many years of playing it. Yeah, it's funny too. I only got one video on my YouTube channel of me playing the banjo. You can just search Banjo on the channel. You'll find it if you want to check it out. One. So there you go, folks. I see something on that camera that shouldn't be there. I hope it's recording. I've owned a bunch of Gibson RB250s. Newer ones. Well, when I say a bunch, I've probably 5 or 6 over the years and sold them. They're not like this. The inlays, everything, they're just totally, the headstock, everything's different about them. And they don't sound as good. I didn't think they did. I owned arch tops and flat tops. I had one Gibson Granada, they're called. It was a gold banjo, all gold and red wood. The wood was painted red. Beautiful, man. It was like the one Earl Scruggs played, only Earl saw the gold was wore off of. This was a brand new Gibson Granada that I had. Very, very expensive banjo back then. I'd hate to think what one would cost now. I was dummy, sold it, man. Yeah, I couldn't play it. It just laid around here all the time, so I thought, yeah, I'm going to give it to somebody that'll get some use out of it, maybe can play it or enjoy it some way. I wish I could think, man, what I was going to tell you about this banjo. There was something else I started to tell you about and I got off on these frets. I forgot what it was, man. Tried to go back on the video and look and see it. I couldn't find it. I didn't get any hints from it. I'll put in the screen text or something if I think of it by the time I edit this video. I don't know how long this video is. I have no idea. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing well, man. I'm doing good, except for the rheumatoid arthritis. It's just eating it's killing me, man. You know, I could go get treatment for it, take shots in the belly, or I think it's Humira was what my buddy over here took. He's dead now, so I can't ask him. But it helped him. I do know that. He was crippled. I mean, he let it go a long time. I'm not going to let it go that long. But yeah, I'm going to let it go as long as I can, because I don't know what that shit does to you. You keep pumping however many shots you take a day of it. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video this month on this old banjo here. I guess I'll put it back in the case and put it back in its storage. I'm not going to play it because I can't, man. I can't even hold it. That's the way they're supposed to work if you can play it. I used to have banjos with 4 of those. All 4 keys up here were tuners, locking tuners. And you could do some pretty funky stuff with that. The other banjo I have now, this, like I say, this is my son's now. I gave it to him. My dad gave it to me. I thought, you know, he was playing at the time, banjo, so I just said keep it, man. Because I've got another one. I think I showed you all it one time. And it's got the locking tuners on it. The newer ones I'm talking about. Anyways, that's all I can think of. I'm going to go lay down, put this thing back in storage, and get laid out, man. Pretty bad shape. I mean, every joint in my body's been aching here lately. So I'll probably have to do something about it pretty soon. I told the doctor, I said, man, you know, I'm going to put that medicine off for as long as I can, you know. If I can go another 5 years, or even 10 if that's possible, without taking the medicine, and then take the medicine as the very last resort, and you know, that's what I'd like to do, instead of taking it right now, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. I don't know what I'll do. Anyways, cheers to you guys. Thank y'all for keeping it here. I hope that camera's recording, man. Thank you for keeping it here. I love you guys, and I do appreciate all your support. I got to get another guitar contest started. I've screwed around with all these doctors and stuff and running everywhere. There just haven't been any time, you know. And now with this pandemic going on, you know, I really don't care if I go anywhere or not, you know. I'm going to go see my mom tomorrow. Y'all know she's in a nursing home with Alzheimer's disease. Can't remember shit. She still knows me. But hell, I haven't been over there. I haven't seen her since September of last year. They quarantined the place back way before the pandemic started because of flu. And then when the pandemic hit, they really buckled down on the quarantine. No, absolutely no visits allowed. Now they started allowing visits, nursing home, old people, that damn disease, and as contagious as it is, I'm scared to death that I might take her something. But they told me on the phone, they said, well, you got 30 minutes to visit with her, and you're going to sit on the opposite end of the table at least 6 feet apart. You got to wear a mask. I don't know if she would know me or not. Yeah, I miss the old days when she was around and active and our talks on the phone. I still call her all the time. But, she'll be talking to her on the phone and she'll just drop the phone, go to sleep and forget about it almost every time. She can't even carry a conversation hardly anymore. But I got to go see her. They finally lifted the quarantine and they'll probably put it back on maybe any time now. So I'm going to go see her tomorrow, try to visit with her a while. And hopefully that'll go good. Anyways, wish me luck. Thank you guys again. I love you. And I'll see you I'll see you before a month. Cheers. Thanks for watching. Thanks for everything.